Can you guys in chat hear me?
Oh,
if
there
you're
he is.
Watching?
Weird.
There we go. Discord
Okay.
difficulties. Best of luck with the run.
All right, thanks. All right, hi Justin.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna mute myself and just focus and let Justin do all the commentary. So thanks, Justin, for being here too.
No problem.
Go ahead and give me the countdown just here in a few seconds while I pick up my controller and stuff.
All right. We'll give you about 10 seconds, and we'll get started. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So we have about 35 seconds before we get control here in the intro. So the intro stage is divided into 3 sections. You have the first X section, which is just basically just dashing through a couple of enemies, you're climbing a couple of ladders, and then you'll run into a big giant cutscene where X will get captured. Then Zero will step in for a little bit, and then you actually face a boss at the end of that section, and then the intro will finish off with one final X section where you'll fight the actual boss of the intro. So this is 100%, so we will be collecting all of the upgrades, all of the heart tanks, all of the sub-tanks, all 4 of the robot armor upgrades, and in addition, we'll also be getting the 2 Easter eggs, the gold armor, and you'll actually get Zero's saber at the end of Doppler 2. So as you see here, Zero comes in. He has a double charge buster plus the saber when he charges to green. Darren will be charging up to green in preparation for the boss fight. The saber is very, very powerful with Zero. It basically deals all the damage except for 1 point, and then you'll see him finish off just like so. So the buster will set him up for a 1-shot kill with the saber, and then he has to break free X. So, one of the big caveats with X3 is that even though you get to play as Zero if you want, he cannot face any mini bosses or Mavericks. There is one exception at the end, which we'll get to a little later. For Mo here, he's going to start with the full charge shot, as you see, and then he may try to squeeze in a CFO shot like that. Unlike X1 and X2, Dash Lemons, they deal double damage to minor enemies, but they don't do that to bosses, with this intro boss being the lone exception. And he was able to finish him off with a full charge, I believe, at some point after that CFO shot. And he didn't get hit by any of his fists, which is remarkable. So now that the intro's done, normally most of the runs you will go Buffalo first because you can get the dash boots and one of the best weapons in the game. But for 100%, you have to go to Tunnel Rhino first. 2 reasons. The drill is a very good item to have a little bit later. It's required to get the Buster upgrade. And you can't get any... well, you can get the sub-tank in this stage without anything, but the heart tank and the helmet upgrade requires the charged Triad Thunder, which we obviously don't have yet. So we're only coming here solely to get the weapon, and then we'll come back later to get the revisits out of the way. So for 100%, this stage is actually really difficult. It requires a really large learning curve because, as you see, Darren has taken some damage, and the damage that he's taking is a lot here. That one boulder took a lot of damage, so he really has to try to keep his HP up so that he can tank these hits on the Hell Crusher mini-boss here. So he double mashes very, very well. And he has about 6 HP left, so he does have to be a little careful There's a couple enemies here toward the end that if he touches them, he will die because they deal a lot of damage. And luckily for Darren, he got a health drop there from the mini-boss, so he doesn't have to worry about that now. So, one major difference in this game compared to X1 and X2 is that the ladders are very, very wide, so he's able to do ladder gap jumps very easy. So, since you don't have any weakness weapons right now, you're just going to use the CFO strat. He's going to just fire a normal lemon, which will deal the 1 damage. And then he's charging up for a big charge. And as you see, Tunnel Rhino, all he's doing is just going back and forth. Tunnel Rhino actually has a more hostile AI if you were to die past the halfway mark in this stage. He would actually add a couple of attacks, which you're not seeing him do, which involve the drills. And then every Maverick has a desperation attack, and they will unload that into their attack arsenal at specific HP values. It's never the same for each boss. Like, Tunnel Rhino will start doing his rainbow charge at like 10 HP or less. So you have to be wary of that. So, very good fight. And now we're heading into Rhino. Now that we've got the drill, because the drill is actually used in this stage to actually get access to the heart tank. So you see he's firing the drills, and he's actually, he went the opposite direction to respawn the blocks as they're taking damage. There's a weird property with the drill is that if a barricade is taking damage as it spawns, it actually disappears. It's really, really finicky, but it just makes getting access to that heart tank a little faster. So those big giant rooms that you see Darren going in through don't really mean anything as of yet. Not until we beat Buffalo will those come into play. So now we got Bootless coming up. He has to do a double kick setup off of that wall there, and he gets it 4th try. You could go get the boots and then come back, but that's a waste of like 15 seconds. So now we get the air dash boots. You'll see that come into play here for Buffalo. Buffalo has an AI to where if X is in the air when Buffalo decides to do an attack, he'll actually just turn around and go right into the wall. So the air dash will keep him in the air so that he can ensure that Buffalo will just stay in one place. And since Buffalo's room is a lot larger, it allows him to do the CFO strat a little bit more efficiently than you could in Tunnel Rhino. So there's where that air dash comes into play. It keeps him in the air until Buffalo decides to go into the wall. Now Buffalo has a desperation attack he can do if Darren were to mess up this, but that's a perfect demonstration of how this fight's supposed to go. So coming up is a cutscene to where we introduce Bit, Bite, and the return of Vile from X1. During the remaining 6 stages of Mavericks that he has to clear, Bit will appear randomly in the next 3 stages. If he doesn't appear in the 3rd or 4th Maverick stage, he will always show up on the 5th one. And then Bite will show up randomly in the 6th, 7th, or 8th Maverick stage in those giant rooms that he passed through earlier. But they are a mandatory fight during the 8 Mavericks. Vile actually has a hidden capsule that you actually have to locate in order to go to his little secret area and fight him. And in 100%, you do actually have to fight him to get access to the saber a little bit later. Vile's capsule normally will appear in Volt Catfish, Blizzard Buffalo, or Crushed Crawfish. And his capsule only appears in a Maverick stage that has not yet been cleared. So that means there's only 2 places that capsule can appear in. And it's actually better to fight him during the crawfish stage. So here comes another instance of the drill, and he gets that perfectly. He doesn't have to wait for that block to be cleared. He just destroys the block and goes straight to the arm capsule. So now that he's got the Buster upgrade and the foot upgrade as well, he's able to climb ladders up and down really, really fast. And he's able to do the neon jumps as you see from X2. So he's setting up. He's holding the. Oh, he accidentally swapped. Maybe he did that intentionally. But he's going to use the. He's going to use the ice here, a very powerful weapon against the Worm Seeker. Takes him out with 5 shots. There's also an alternative strat where you can actually neon jump with that second Buster shot that he had stored, and then you can quickly swap to ice and finish him off that way. So as you see, that's what happens when you have the Buster upgrade and the leg upgrade. You can climb ladders really, really fast. That's only applicable in 100% because in any percent you don't have the Buster upgrade, so you have to climb the wall. So this is actually good. We want to see Bit either in this stage or in Gravity Beetle stage, because we don't have to worry about bustering one of the bosses in Seahorse. So takes down Bit, and he doesn't kill him with his weakness weapon. That would trigger a 15-second explosion. And also, he was able to do the CFO strat, I think, with the ice to deal additional damage. Ooh, that's a bad hit there, but he's able to get away. Double neon jumps to the heart tank. So Darren has to be a little careful in this fight. He can easily die if he gets too close to Tiger and he's not prepared. So he doesn't start off with a charge. I think that was an accident. And you also notice that he's not firing a charge shot at Tiger unless he's also attacking, because Tiger will block any charge shots that come his way. So this is good. And also, every time that Tiger attacks or does an action, he resets his iframes. So if you notice that his bar there was ticking down 2 ticks really quickly. Ooh. And that was actually good that Tiger stayed on the wall, because if he's not on the ground, he's not doing his desperation attack, which can consume time, and if he's not careful, Tiger could swipe him in the face with the claw. And luckily for Darren, that's exactly what he did, so he didn't have to worry about the desperation, because all Tiger did was shoot the Ray Splasher on the wall, which is better than getting hit in the face, for sure. So, for right now, we're following weakness order for Beetle. Now, this is one of the stages that will be revisited later, because we cannot get this heart tank that Darren just passed. Those blocks blocking it only clear when we finished Blast Hornet. So since Bit has already been fought, we won't have to worry about Bit and Seahorse, which is kind of unfortunate if you get that in a run. So another bootless-like jump here to get the frog enhancement for the rod armor. We won't be using that in a speed run, but you have to get it for the 100% completion. So now he's switching to Buster. He's going to try to use the neon jumps to quickly scale this vertical elevator shaft, and he gets through it cleanly. You could also updash, but neon jumps is slightly faster. So, as you can tell, X3 100% is probably the most demanding category when it comes to execution in all of the Mega Man X series games, in my opinion. Because there is a lot of new tricks that has been found recently that makes the optimization really, really good. Oh, we're going in with a charge ray splasher strat. Interesting. So every time Gravity Beetle gets hit with this weakness, he's going to jump forward. And also, every time that he gets hit with his weakness, he gets longer iframes. And in some cases, that's really good because that allows you to charge up for a Buster Shot like he did here. And then you can just loop him with the Ray Splasher. If Beetle were to do his little rainbow charge, the Ray Splasher actually interrupts that and knocks him out of it, so he's able to get hit again. So now we're going to Seahorse, which his weakness is the Frost Shield that we got from Buffalo. The reason why we didn't want to see Bit in this stage is because not only is Bit weak to the Frost Shield, and Seahorse is weak to it, but also the mini-boss is weak to it. And we just don't have enough Frost Shield to have it for all three bosses. So it saves a little bit of time, and this is one of the bigger demanding climbing stages. Not as bad as Gravity Beetle wasn't as bad, but this is really shows. So coming up, I think we're going to see Darren charge up the Frost Shield because he's going to use it. He's going to wall kick off of it underwater. When he releases the charge, it's going to create a big ice block, and he's going to turn around. Oh, he just missed it. But you saw what he was going for there. He's going to wall kick off the side of it. Okay, and then he has to do the double neon back up to get up to the kangaroo part. Yeah, when you release the Frost Shield normally on dry land, it creates like a little shield in front that can take the hit. When you release it in the water, it creates a big giant ice block that you can use to hop on or wall kick off. It's really nice. So one more climbing section, and then we're going to get to the boss. The way the Seahorse fights work, he's going to hit Seahorse in the air as Seahorse is jumping towards him. And then he's going to fall to the ground stunned. And then just before Seahorse jumps out of that stun, Darren's going to fire some more ice into him in a manner that he's going to hit him after his 60 frame invincibility ends, but before he jumps out. There's a little gap in there that you can actually just mash in a bunch of ice, and it'll just deal the weakness damage really quick without triggering the invincibility. And as you saw, he got a little bit of it, but if you mash too long, you have to just let him jump and then reset the cycle. Not too bad. So a very low 18 OX, mid 18 OX Seahorse kill. That's pretty decent. So now we're going to Blast Hornet. Now that we got Gravity Beetle's weapon. So right off the bat is this elevator section, and you're gonna hopefully see two nice neons here. Okay, took a hit for the missile, but that's fine. And then for the shuriken coming up, he's going to use the charge ice. He's going to unleash the charge, or not ice, but acid. There's two ice ball or acid balls that comes out. One of them is going to hit him immediately, and then he's going to CFO into the third one, just like that. So this stage, is where you find the actual normal robot ride armor. And he actually has to free it to get access to use it. He doesn't have to board it, he just has to break it loose from its carriage right there. And now he's able to use any of the robot armor enhancements that he finds. And then we're coming up on a neon jump to get to the heart tank. Just like that. Now he's charging up here in case Bite happens to show up, because he's going to use the charged drill to deal a lot of damage. And he does show up. Excellent. So the charged drill is going to deal 5 damage, and he's going to have to poke him about 6 times with this weapon, and then he's going to actually get hit on purpose just so that Bite will hold still, and then that actually recharges X's Buster, so he's able to swap off the drill so he can hit him with a full charge shot and make him go away. Because you don't want to finish him off with a weakness for Bit and Bite, because they will trigger the explosion. It's okay if you make one explode, but you don't want to make both of them explode, because that will trigger a different end boss for Doppler 1. And we want the God Card Machine fight, which is the easier of the two. So he's charging up for Gravity Well. This is the only time that you actually see this weapon used. He's going to start with a full charge Gravity Well. It's going to deal 6 damage. And then as Hornet goes into a stun, he's going to pause and switch to a different weapon to cancel that animation. And then he's just going to hit him with an ice shot for 1 quick damage and then repeat. Oh, he paused a little too soon there. There you go. So coming up is Vault Catfish stage. This is one of the stages you can actually go seek out Vile, but we don't have the Triad Thunder weapon, which is really helpful in that secret stage. So we're actually going to delay fighting Vile until we get to Crawfish. But Catfish, the first half of this stage is really, really neat with all the movement. You're going to use the Parasitic Bomb we just got from Hornet to paralyze that enemy. And then he's going to go into a Neon Jump. And then he's going to utilize another Neon here in this spike-filled elevator shaft. Because he's got to get to the heart tank. Like so. He gets the wall kick buster shot, which is really interesting. And now the body armor capsule is also protected by spikes. And he gets that clean. Now for the second half of the Catfish stage, we've got to get a sub-tank, which requires the rod armor to get. One of the neat things about X3 is that the items are pretty well split evenly, and they're kind of grouped together. If you've noticed that there's a sub-tank in every stage that has a armor capsule, and for each stage that has a robot armor piece, there's also a red capsule, which are enhancement chips for your upgrades. Which you notice he's not collecting any of the red capsules because there's a special Easter egg a little bit later that we're going to get. And I'll discuss a little bit of that later. So he's using the charge Frost Shield, and as you notice, every time an enemy that is touching the ground or the ceiling dies to the Frost Shield, it actually forces a health drop. So if you're a beginner player on X3, there's your tip. Kill enemies with ice to get health drops. So you notice that he's not going into Catfish with the drill, which is his weakness. He's actually going to try to do CFO shots with the Buster Shot and the Acid Shot to maximize damage. When Catfish is below half health, he will go into his Desperation phase, which only the drill will knock him out of it. So right here, you notice that he hits him with the drill immediately, and that's because if he ever gets that jolt when he jumps into the center, he takes 1 less damage from the charge drill. Darren's showing off what the charge drill does when you're on the wall. It holds you in place. Really neat. So if Catfish were to get that jolt, the fight basically turns into any percent. And that extra 1 point of damage that the charge drill does can actually save you like 4 or 5 seconds. Okay, so Crawfish is the last Maverick, and we do have to face Vile in this stage. Right after the halfway checkpoint, there is a little hidden area. But first, he's going to charge up the Triad Thunder, which actually breaks open that hole there to open up the area to get the Hawk enhancement. And he's actually going to use that immediately to get the Heart Tank that is shortly coming up. The Hawk actually has like a hover ability or thrusters that you saw next to, so that's why you pick up that one. And as you see, he's able to hover as he picks up the Heart Tank. Oh, nice. Able to carry the Hawk armor through that little section. He has to ditch it before he can enter that door, though. It's a shame you can't take it through the whole stage. So coming up is the Vile Secret stage. So you're going to see him start with a little bit of Parasitic Bomb. That actually disables that Wall Cancer's hitbox so that he can just move through it. And then he's using the Triad Thunder here as a shield to protect himself from the falling debris. And then he's going to go back and charge up for the Ray Splasher, which he's going to use quite a bit in this Vile fight. If you air dash while firing the Ray Splasher, it actually cancels itself, and he can actually fire another shot immediately. And then he's going to charge up CFO shots into the Ray Splasher pod, which will instantly break when he lets it go against the Rod Armor. This fight is very, very, very difficult, and it is very tight on the weapon usage. If Vile has to kill, Vile has to die on the last hit with the Ray Splasher in order to have a shot at getting the Z-Saber. So he lets the Ray Splasher pod go there. He's going to let the bullets deal 2 damage a couple of times, and then the pod itself is going to deal an extra 5 damage. And he gets the fight perfectly. So if you notice at that last hit, you didn't see any energy in the Ray Splasher meter. Actually, he does have a half of unit of energy, although the meter only displays full units. So that fight's been worked out like to the very last unit of energy to make that work. So now on the escape, he uses the Triad to get through the drill wings, and now he's using the Triad again for protection from the debris. .28 is pretty good. So now he teleports back to the halfway point that he just passed. So now he's able to get to the end. So he's coming up onto the engine room in the submarine. He has to destroy the engine to make the submarine turn vertical. A short climbing section, and then we'll have the Crush Crawfish fight. Darren's trying to get the 7-pixel wall kick. So what Darren's going to do here, he's going to fire the Triad Thunder and automatically start holding a charge. And then when Crawfish gets hit with this weapon, he's got 2 seconds of a period where he'll take a lot of damage without inducing any additional iframes, and then boom, he just lets the earthquake punch go and it fries him. This quick kill is actually really easy. It's not that difficult compared to the seahorse one. You just have to let Crawfish run his set distance so that he doesn't grab you. That's the key. So that's why Darren goes all the way to the wall so that Crawfish doesn't grab him. Because you can get grabbed out of that and your punch won't go. So we've beaten all the Mavericks, but we don't have all the upgrades, and that's what these revisits are now for. And you do the revisits after you do all the Mavericks because it saves you on cursor movements in the stage select. Now we do Gravity Beetle first to get the Heart Tank because it's so short. But there's another important reason that I'll discuss in the next revisit. So he does the neon jumps like he did before, but now he adds the air dash to get up to the ledge. So now we're heading back to Tunnel Rhino to get the last remaining Heart Tank and the helmet upgrade. So you'll notice that when he unleashes the Triad Thunder charge, he's going to punch the ground, and it's actually going to fry the ropes that are holding the boulders in place. Ooh. Now, to cancel that, he has to pause and switch to another weapon. The blocks will still fall. So now he's going to use the Triad Thunder, basically to get through all of these enemies. They all die with one hit. He actually is going to swap back the Parasitic Bomb to try to get this this one shot to pass through the wall cancer, and he gets it. So there's a reason why we do this revisit last, and it's all because of the helmet upgrade. When he receives the helmet upgrade, it's automatically going to spawn a radar to show you the entire map and if there are any remaining items where they're at in the stage. If you enter any of the 8 Maverick stage with this helmet upgrade, it will automatically spawn a map of the stage before you can even get movement, and that costs you 5 seconds. So the only time that you want to see this radar activated is when it's doing the demonstration right here. You press Y to clear it, and then you just clear and exit the stage. Now, there are 4 red capsules in 4 of the other Maverick stages that he did not get, and there's a reason why he did not collect them. If you actually wait until this stage to pick up any of the enhancement chips, you can actually get all 4 of them at once, and that's what I mean by the gold armor. You're only allowed to enter 1 red capsule per game, so instead of entering 1 of the red capsules in the Mavericks, you just wait till you get here, and you can get all 4 of them at once. So he gets through the spiked corridor very well. He goes through the elevator clean. Now he's going to take out Rex 2000 with a charged spinning blade and 1 additional spinning blade as the air dash is over. He wants to end on this very edge of the screen so that X has less distance to walk to get to 0 for this little cutscene. Now, one key thing about getting this gold armor, just like the Shoryuken and Hadouken in X1 and X2 respectively, you have to have full health to spawn the capsule. So he's going to be using the Charged Frost Shield to actually guarantee some health drops. And there you go. You got to have full health to get this capsule to appear. So he enters it, and you're going to see X change color. He's going to go from his normal blue and white to gold. So now he has all 4 of the enhancement chips all at once. He has a double air dash. He has a health regeneration if he stands still, which doesn't really help in the speed run. He also has an extra level of armor, which will produce a red shield when he takes damage instead of a blue one. And more importantly, which we'll see in the boss rush, is the Hyper C, or the Hypercharge. But right now, we got the God Card Machine fight. It's a very easy fight. You just unload the Race Splasher pod, and then you just stand behind him and just unload the Race Splasher. Even though those orbs deal a lot of damage, Darren is winning the damage race. So there's no real fear of dying unless you miss shots. So coming up is Doppler 2. The key stage on why we wanted to defeat Vile is so that we get a harder stage, because in this version we have the red Victoroids, which are more powerful than the ones that we saw in at the beginning of Seahorse. So yeah, this very opening section is very, very difficult to get through cleanly, but he made the best of it. Now, the one time that Zero can actually fight a boss, where he's actually going to swap in Zero right here. So when Zero defeats the Mosquitoes boss, Mosquitoes is just going to fall directly onto Zero and cause Zero to just about die. Okay, and Darren got the Zero duplicate to appear, which makes Mosquitoes basically explode instantly. So you don't have to worry about him dropping down and hovering over Zero forever. It's interesting. Okay, so that's just the first trick. Now we got the elevator skip coming up. He's got one shot to get what we call explosion skip. He's going to go up the spiked elevator shaft with the air dash and then the Triad Thunder. If the Helots cooperate, they actually load enough memory into the game that prevents the explosion skip from, or that prevents the explosion sequence from even happening. And it looks like the climb was good. But the idea is that you want to kill mosquitoes, not mosquitoes, but the Volcarego with the ranged saber. So okay, he gets him with the range. Okay, he got the explosion skip, but he actually updashed instead of just staying on the ground. That actually is an explosion skip, but it's a slower version. If he were to stay on the ground and got the explosion skip, the fanfare would have instantly played, and he would have saved an additional couple of seconds. But it's a good demonstration of what happens when you get explosion skip. Okay, so one thing that I probably missed when he fought Volcarego is that he actually skipped the second shot of the Hyper C. Normally, when you have the Hyper C, it fires your charge shots in consecutive order. So you have the first shot, then you got the second Big Buster shot, and then you have the Saber. But he actually interrupted the second charge shot with a wall kick. After he pressed the fire button, he does a quick wall kick to cancel that second shot. So he's able to go right to the Saber, and in addition, when he fires the Saber, he actually weapon swaps over back to Buster from Hyper C, because the normal X-Buster, when he fires the Saber, is actually the same weapon, so it doesn't cancel the Saber animation, but in addition, it also saves 2 additional ammo. So after he hits him with the first Saber, he's actually charging up normally for the normal X-Buster Saber, and as he takes damage, he's actually recharging the Hyper C for the next Maverick. This is going to save massive time, as opposed to like just charging up slowly for 2 Sabers for each Maverick. So as you see, his Hyper C is already full. And then after he hits him with the first Saber, he's just ditching the 2 charge shots normally, and then he's going to hit him with the second Saber for a quick kill. And the beauty is that you do not have to have full health to use the Saber. It's just like an additional weapon. It's not like the Hadouken or the Shoryuken. So normally you would do like the like in the old route you would Hyper C, Hornet, and Tiger. But since you have this new trick, it changes the boss refight order a little bit. So he gets the kill on Beetle. Very nice. So now he's going to Rhino. Now you still do the quick kills on Seahorse and Crawfish, but you do those last because you have to recharge your Hyper C for Doppler. And another very key thing to this Saber Rush is that the animation of the Saber can actually get interrupted if X were to get hit. So if you charge up to Saber and you throw the Saber, but then you get hit before it hits your target, you lose the Saber and you have to recharge again. So it's a big time waste if you mis-execute a fight. So here for this fight, we actually expend Hyper C twice, but on the last hit there, he swaps over to the Buster at the last second. So now he's going to go back to Seahorse and Crawfish to take additional damage while he's doing the quick kills with the weapons. You don't use the Saber on these two Mavericks. So he's, in addition to doing the quick kill strats, he also has to take additional damage. And that was a good refight there. So the last refight is Crawfish, and it's handled just like the first fight. You just charge up, take one hit for the Hyper C recharge, and then let loose your punch. So Darren looks like he's going to run out of health. He's still got plenty of health to damage boost off of Doppler. And he's going to actually take, I think, another hit from the Walk Blaster just before the door leading to Doppler. So we don't see his Hyper C yet, but we know it's getting close. You probably hear a big high-pitched chime. That is an indication that his Hyper C is full. So you may hear that here really soon if you haven't heard it through each of the refights already. So he takes one hit there. Oh no, he was gonna kill him. Oh, that is a shame. Oh, that was so good. And then, bam. I think he got a little close. So, that's a shame. I think if he didn't take one hit from the laser, he would have got him. So, one thing I haven't touched on yet, if you die in specific spots in the run, it loses massive time. So, there's the quick kill that we wanted to see. Just didn't quite get it. So, you notice that his Hyper C is not full now. That will be remedied as he goes into the Sigma fight. He's going to damage boost a couple of times, I think, on these enemies that he has to get through at the start of the final stage. And then, as he's charging up for his Saber, normally on the X-Buster, when he takes the last hit, it'll be on Kaiser Sigma himself. So he's on Saber right now. He's just gonna run right into Sigma when the fight starts. He'll have Hyper C field at that moment, and then he's gonna swap to Hyper C and try to get the quick kill. There you go. That's really tricky. And he turns around when he unleashes the Saber, because the Saber goes active the moment X pulls it out from behind him. So there's a hitbox, and it'll kill him a lot faster than if he were to face forward. So with all this Hyper C left, he's going to expend it on Big Sig. He's going to try to Neon Jump with these Hyper C shots to kill him in midair. 1, 2. Oh, he didn't get it. But you still got the normal backup strat, which is from the old route. And just like that, X3 is almost done. Time will end when he loses control at the top of this final climb. He just has to stay out of the lava, and as the lava rises, the walls will start to cave in a little bit. You can die if you get trapped under one of those edges, but as long as you stay up above Sigma's head up here, you should be fine. He can't really get you. So yeah, right here, he's fine. So time is coming up very, very soon. And time. I think that was a low 42 or a high 41. GG. And that's with the def too. Like, that was very, very low 45 pace. If not, like, high 44, low 45. Very good run. Alright, and that was Mega Man X3. GG, Darren.
Alright. Thanks, Justin.
No problem.
I could have 44'd if I didn't be an idiot on Doppler.
Yeah, I think you took one extra hit maybe, and I think that was the decider.
Yeah, I was too close to him, like you said. If you're a little too close, that ball will hit you before the Saber hits him.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for the GGs, everybody. And I guess that's it for us. So thanks a lot, Strizer, for hosting the marathon, and definitely stay tuned for 8-Bit running X6, right? Yeah, he's running X6 next.
All right. Hope you enjoyed the commentary and the run. Thanks for having me, and see y'all next time.
Bye!